CCSU Blue Devils. This is Sarah from Student Activities and Leadership Development, and I have been self-quarantined for the past week and a half, and I've been working on knitting. So I've been knitting this blanket. It's still been pretty cold, so I really wanted to make something that was super cozy and comfy. So I'm gonna talk to you a little about how to do that. It might not be the best how-to video, but we're definitely gonna try. So what do you need to knit? You're gonna need knitting needles. So these knitting needles are gauge 17, which makes them giants in the knitting world. And I bought these because the yarn I used, which is this yarn right here, had a label on it that recommended gauge 17 needles. So that's what we're using. So we're using these needles, this thick, fluffy gray yarn, and then I also have these scissors, which are going to be used for cutting yarn and not for giving myself bangs. I don't recommend cutting your own hair during this time unless you know what you're doing or you're just giving yourself a little snip. But yeah, the scissors are for yarn, not for my hair. And then I need, along with me while I'm knitting, some nice cozy warm tea. This is a ginger green tea, Tazo tea, that I really like. And it doesn't have too much caffeine, so I can drink it in the afternoon. Okay, so to get started, we have to do something called casting on. So when you cast on, that's when you get your loops onto your first needle. So in order to do that, you just take your yarn and you make a really simple knot, just like you would for anything. Give it a little bit of a tail. So here's my knot. It's a very simple knot. So I'm just gonna take that knot and put my needle through it and then kind of tighten it up a little bit. Not too tight, but tighten it up so it's not flopping all over the place. So next, in order to cast on some more loops, I'm gonna take my other needle and put it right in next to my first original needle. I'm now thinking I should have gotten 2 different color needles to help you sort that out. But here we are. So now you're going to take the tail of the yarn that is connected to your yarn ball, not the one that's flopping around over here. You're going to take that and you're going to put it in between the 2 yarn needles, your 2 needles. So again, you have both needles in your knot that you originally made, and then you're going to take your yarn and put it in between. So you can see that there's something in between there. Next, it's a little tricky, so I don't know how I'm gonna show you, but I'm gonna try. You take one of your needles and you bring it down and you try to kind of capture the bit of yarn that you just put in between the new needles, and then pull on it so that you get some more yarn. And then you're gonna take that and you're gonna bring it and loop it over the other needle. So right now I have 2 loops on, so I'm gonna continue. So again, I'm gonna take my free needle and put it so that it's next to the other needle. I'm gonna take the bit of yarn that is attached to the yarn ball and put it in between the 2 needles. Then I'm gonna bring your free needle down and hook it on the piece that was stuck in the middle, and then bring it up and over. So now I have 3 loops. So for my blanket, I had about 17 loops on here. It was a narrow blanket. I might make another one and then knit the 2 together. That could be fun. If you're making a scarf or something like that, you probably, oops, that was the wrong side. You probably only want to put maybe half that, maybe 10 loops on. So I'm gonna just keep going with that again. So now I have 8 loops cast on to my needle. Now that you have all of your loops on your needle, you're gonna do something very similar to casting on in the first steps, but you're gonna get all these loops onto your other needle. So here we go again. I'm gonna get the two needles next to each other within the same loop. I'm gonna take my extra bit of yarn and put it in between the two. I'm gonna do the same thing where I capture it with one needle and pull it up, but instead of casting onto the top, I'm just gonna pull it right off. Ah, scary! Alright, so we're just gonna keep doing that, where we get it so that the two needles are gonna take a tea break. So I'm gonna do the purl stitch again so that I can kind of show you what that middle piece looks like. So again, with purling, the needles are gonna go in opposite directions through the loop that you've created. It's easier to see like that, probably. Same direction, you're still bringing that yarn in between the two and pulling everything off. Something that you're more used to seeing in knit clothing or other, like, you know, hats and accessories. So that pattern right there. Now, to end, let's say you do this several times and you get a whole scarf. Great, congratulations. You watched the entire Harry Potter series. I'm so proud of you. To cast off is another step that we're gonna learn. All right. So, doing kind of the knit pattern, you're going to have the two needles going in the same direction. Again, you're going to loop onto the loop that's at the top. You're going to bring the yarn through the middle, and you're going to get it onto your other needle. You're going to do the same thing again. You're like, Sarah, this is the exact same thing we were doing before. Wait for it. All right, so this is where we change it up a little. So you're gonna take the bottom loop and pull it up over this loop and then off. So it's kind of hard to see, but I'm taking this loop, I'm making sure that it's on top of the other loop and then pulling it right off. So again, now I only have one loop over here and all the rest are here. So I'm gonna knit again. The normal knit stitch. So I have two loops. I'm going to take the bottom loop, pull it up and over the other one. Eek. It's a little scary. It's okay, we can do it. So again, now we only have one loop over here. So we're going to keep doing that. I'm going to take my extra string and just pull it a little bit more through. This one's kind of chunky, so it's getting caught. But I'm gonna cut this side and then knot it. Where are my scissors? So again, I'm gonna cut this fun little tail off right there. I'm gonna pull it through. Some of the fluff got stuck. Pulled off because I was being really not gentle with it. but I'm just gonna tie it in a knot. It's gonna be fine. And here I have my little knitting project. So that's one side, the other side. Again, I did the knit stitch probably a bajillion times, and that is how I got my blankie. So here's the knit side. Here's the other side, so you can kind of see that purling pattern. So I hope you've enjoyed knitting with me. If you have any questions, you should YouTube it on someone else's channel, because I don't always really know what I'm doing, but I'm happy to help. If you have any questions related to virtual programming, what's going on at Central and whatnot, don't hesitate to ask. If I don't have the answers, I will look to others and get you the resources you need. So thanks for knitting with me. Enjoy your tea, enjoy your movies, and take care. Bye.